Hi, and welcome to my workshop. You know when you hear that music and you see me playing the piano here that you know that you've got to drop everything and come and watch the show because we've got some wonderful stuff to show you. This show is all about creativity and making things from fibers and all kinds of stuff like that. Today we've even got live models and we're going to have a bathing suit segment and we're going to show you that. So guys, don't go too far away. But to join me to my first section is Cousin Nancy, and it's always great to have you. Thanks for coming.
No bathing suit.
No bathing suit,
bathing
okay. Okay. But you do books and stuff like that.
I do.
And you've got your newest book out.
Right.
So this is good.
The Unmentionable History of the West. We don't actually talk about bathing suits so much, but we talk about...
They weren't allowed, were they, in the early days? Were they?
Well, yes, but down to here and up to there.
Yeah, okay.
But I have talked about underwear and the fact that affected women's history just as much as any other, factor
sure.
out
In
there.
Fact, I think very much so, because we say if we've got these long skirts and bustles and corsets,
and you can't breathe.
Yeah.
And there were an awful lot of things you couldn't talk about, thus unmentionable.
Yeah.
And I interviewed a lot of older women and asked them about some of those unmentionables.
Yeah.
Good answers,
okay.
really good
It's
answers.
so good to be free. And speaking of free, Nancy, have you ever flown a kite?
No, I haven't.
Well,
so I guess there's one more thing I better do.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's lots more things you better do. You're not there yet.
No, I'm not quite that far along. Okay.
But I think everyone should have the joy of flying a kite. And
I
know when I made one of these, and I've been making them probably for 20 years, and I brought it home to my parents, and they were just delighted because they'd never flown a kite. And there was an 80-year-old Mrs. Deegan. She was there. And
I knew Mrs. Deegan.
And she had that look in her eye when she flew that kite. It was just like, I can't believe this. So let's
okay.
make one.
All right, we'll do it.
Okay, so a kite really, well, there's different kinds of kites, but I like the dragon kite because it's so big and makes such a splash when you have it. I mean, you can also decorate with kites. You can have them hanging on the walls, which is kind of
I've seen this stuff.
We put one up on the wall there, so just to think that you could do that. But you could actually fly it, too.
So I know you're going to make this from fabric because that's your thing. What do you use?
You use nylon.
Okay,
very
so it's
firm
really,
nylon.
really light.
In fact, the one good thing is to actually blow it. And if you can't blow through it, that means the air is not going to go through it. That means it's going to fly.
Really?
It's going to stay up. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You can't blow through it. So this is good. So that's a good way to test. And
All
you want
right.
it nice and light.
Yeah.
Because if it's too heavy, it's going to take a real gale, and you don't want to be out in the gale.
No. Okay. Although Calgary gets lots of, where I live, it gets lots of gales.
Okay,
I think it would make exciting kiting.
Okay.
Exciting kiting?
Exciting kiting.
Okay. All right.
So you need a head and you need a tail.
Right.
So the tail is maybe one of the most fun things to do.
You think?
And they are pieces, 60 inches long, because that's how wide your fabric is, and 22 inches wide. And we're going to sew
and there's
all
how
of
many?
those together.
5 of
Five
these?
Of them, yeah.
Okay.
So you can serge it, and you can actually top stitch it, because you need it really strong.
It has to be strong,
It's going to take a lot of abuse.
Okay.
So why don't you, take this end and go down to there, because we want to make 2 kites.
Okay.
And I'm just going to invite Jackie on, because she can grab the other end of this here. And so now you guys keep this thing untwisted and fold it corner to corner.
There we are. Okay.
So you got that.
So I turn it down.
So if you hold it up, I think like that, Jackie.
Okay, Jackie.
So can you get the opposite way? There you go. Okay, so one of you stays stationary.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to get my scissors while you two guys figure this out, okay? Because we're going to cut it. That's
there.
it. You got it.
Okay.
And hold it tight. And I'm going to kind of just take a little snip in here.
All right.
And this is really awkward to begin with.
Can I start it for you?
We'll just kind of go like this.
All right.
And then... And...
Can you explain what you're doing?
I'm cutting diagonally. And actually, if I get my scissors going this way now, I'm going to cut so that I have 2 tails. Okay, if you want to come up here, I'll bring Jackie in a little bit. And this does not have to be absolutely perfect. I mean, that's the joy of this. It's not rocket science. So, more or less, and we're keeping coming. And we're coming. And there, we got it. Okay, Nancy, we've got two tails. So you can have a kite and I can have a kite.
Okay, such a deal.
So here it is. And now you're going to have to hem this. This is a wonderful project for anybody who's learning to sew, because this really needs to be hemmed or serged or something. So you dump that one. We'll just use this one.
All right.
Okay, so now this has to be hemmed. Then once you've got it hemmed, we're going to make the top.
Let me see this hem. Oh, okay.
It's
machine
not a big
hem.
deal, but it's a good thing to learn.
Yes,
it's not bad.
all right.
So here's the head, and we're going to actually put this fiberglass rod in the head so that you actually can trace around that.
Okay.
And I cheated. I've already
So we've already
traced.
Yeah. Right.
And then we're going to fold that in half and cut that in two. And what to do with my scissors? I see some more scissors here, and that's okay.
That's a typical question when someone is sewing. Where did my scissors go?
You know that.
I know.
They move. They walk. So here is.
So that's the head.
And I've actually pressed. Well, I should take another little press on this. We'll just press that so we can find the center.
And another thing about sewing is you can't do it without an iron.
No, you know that.
Yes, right.
All right. And then we're going to put a piece down the middle of this.
Oh, you're going to make this thing.
I have to make that right there.
Okay.
So I'm going to just take a piece of braid or a piece of twill tape, and I'm going to sew that right down the middle. And it is important to get it in the middle because you want to get it sort of balanced.
Okay.
So sew that down the middle.
Well, you sew it on either side so that there's a
so that you can put this wooden dowel inside there.
Okay.
You have to cut the wooden dowel the right size.
Okay.
Then you're going to take the binding, and you're going to put this binding all the way around the edge. And I usually start it down a little bit so that I'll have a little bit extra.
Okay. So the binding is the yellow part on this.
And that's what's going to hold this. So you'll then feed that
then we feed it through there. Oh, okay.
Then all we do is sew your tail to your head.
Yes.
And then we have to string it. And you do have to have good kite string to do this because this is going to take quite a bit of abuse. So you take a chunk off of your kite spool and you sew it there and sew it up there.
With a little bit of ease.
And then, and then put on your string, or put on your ring, sorry.
Yeah.
And then you take... And here's what we did. We put
a
nice swivel on there.
Yeah.
I've got to get my glasses on so I can see what's going on. So we'll put the swivel on here. And we're going to hook that onto there. And I won't do it right now, but that's what you do when you go to fly this.
Okay.
You hook that on, and you go out into the wind.
And
you sort of throw this
into
thing
a hill.
up.
Okay.
And hope to heck it flies. And it's such a delight when it actually does fly because there's no reason that it shouldn't.
No. What does it fill you? Do you sing? Do you say poetry as you're doing it?
You kind of meditate. You kind of just watch and it ripples and it waves and it just... Shall we go do it?
Yeah. Wouldn't mind. Okay.
All right. So don't you go away. We're going to go fly the kite, but don't you go away because we've got more good stuff coming up.
Guests of our show stay at Travel Lodge. Nice rooms, great people. Models provided by Chan International. #1 in personal development training, modeling, and acting.
Threads everywhere, and what am I going to use to sew? So I like pretty ones. I'm going to take this one, and this one, and this one. Oh, they're all such good ones. Okay, I think I need to find out what to do with these, and I need to have a thread specialist. So we've invited Nancy Storch, and you can tell me what thread to use for what occasion. There's just so many kinds.
Oh, thank you, Linda, for having me. Yes, there is a lot of threads.
It's just going wild.
Yes, yes. And sometimes we want to see threads, and sometimes we don't. So we have...
Well, that's true. But first of all, if I do know anything about threads, I remember people have told me over the years, take a piece of thread and make sure there's no stuff on it. Like it needs to be clean.
Right, lint-free. Yes.
Lint-free, is that what? Okay.
Yes. So hold it up to a piece of contrasting piece of fabric or paper, and then you'll see if there's all the little hairs and lint on it, the slubs and stuff. And so that's what you want to try to avoid.
Because that's going to get in your machine. It's going to clog up. It's not going to...
Exactly.
So you want it to be as clean and good as possible.
Yes, because it will help you to keep on sewing.
Okay.
You could, spend countless hours cleaning a machine out. And life is for sewing.
I believe using the best. I mean, just get a good thread, get good fabric, good needles, get good everything. So, good. So, you say I can see it or not see it. What's with cotton or polyester? So, if this is cotton, do I use cotton thread? Or
well, this one here is a lightweight polyester, and so...
the fabric or the thread?
The thread.
Okay.
And so sometimes you don't want to see the thread, and so you'll You'll stitch around something that you've
It's kind of
you've
tone on tone
embroidered,
is what
tone
you're-
on tone,
yeah, yeah.
yes, and it
And
will
it's a fine
virtually
thread.
hide. Yeah, sometimes these are referred to as invisible threads. So you can, like, if for instance here you can stitch in the ditch and it would just virtually hide in the ditch.
Okay, okay.
And the nice thing about the lightweight polyesters is that you can get a lot on your bobbin.
Okay.
So you don't have to
Okay,
worry
that's
about
a
running
good
out.
thing.
Yes.
I like that idea.
Yes.
All right, so these are all similar threads, and they're all polyester or pure polyester.
Yes,
What
they
about
are.
the
Yes,
polycotton? Is
but
there such a
very
thing?
very lightweight.
Okay.
Yeah, and those two are lid free as well.
Okay.
So
okay.
continuous
yeah.
sewing.
So have a look.
Yes,
So speaking of weights, how do you tell the weight of a thread?
Okay, so the bigger the number, the finer the thread. So
Okay.
in this instance, you can weight these threads. Some of these are 80 weight, some are 100 weight, so they're very fine.
Okay.
So when
How
you want to
low
see
can
it,
we go?
well, through the needle, we've got an example here, a 12 weight rayon that you can see through the needle, put through the
something
needle.
like that?
No,
that's
actually,
even
that
thicker?
one's even thicker, and
Okay.
that one has to be used in the bobbin.
Okay.
But that's
So
another.
when you get really thick, then you put it in the bobbin only. But
Yes,
you can
and then you'd
use
have to sew
that
so
weight.
reverse. But this one can go through the needle.
Okay.
So for decorative stitching, quilting, even some embroidery, like these are just fabulous on garments or quilts, on borders.
You'd use a bigger needle then, too, to get
A
them
top
through.
stitch needle.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is sort of some of my favorite area here because I like the shine. So what's
Yes.
the story with this thread?
Well, this here too is also a rayon thread, but these are multicolors, and they are very, very addictive.
Like
you can't just buy
variegated.
one.
Did I bring one of those over?
We have a multicolor here, so it actually does change colors.
Yeah,
So,
it's all in one. So I mean, that,
so you
that
just
is a delight. Yes,
the
yeah.
decoration that you can do is just fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
This is rayon as well, but it's two 40 weight rayons twisted together, so it'll give you 20 weight. It'll be even heavier. So again, decorative
Okay,
stitching.
can I
and
put two of any threads through one needle on my machine?
Yes, you can. Yes,
so
you
I can
can.
sew with two threads too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that. And of course,
Another whole
twin
thing.
needle.
Yes.
Is this?
There's a twin needle.
And I
Yes.
could use two different colors there.
Yes.
And especially if I use two variegated colors.
Oh, fabulous, isn't
oh,
it?
scary. This is getting good.
Now-
What's the other thing that I've got? Metallics. People always fuss about metallics.
Yes, they do.
So what's the story there?
So try to look for one that has a rayon core because
Okay.
they're a lot smoother and easier to run.
Okay.
So
and again,
and-
it'll say on the spool, or
yes.
you can ask your retailer.
Yes, you can.
Sure.
And one of the tips that you can do with using specialty threads is use a spool stand next to your machine.
Okay.
And the reason for that is to allow the thread a longer time to relax before it gets into the thread path. Thread has to relax.
Your thread has got to relax.
Yes.
Never mind about you.
Yeah.
It's the thread that's got to relax. Okay.
And another helpful hint is to take a thread wrap, and you would wrap that around the thread and bring it up, and it clings, wraps around and clings
to
over, and it
itself?
sticks to itself. And
Can't be
it'll-
too tight, I wouldn't
No,
think.
it can't be too tight.
Okay.
And then it'll keep it from slipping. It'll keep it feeding at the right tension.
That's a good one,
So
too.
I
Yeah.
really,
yeah.
just a
Yeah.
couple little tips.
And
to
I
help you,
guess
and
what you would say is experiment and try it. I mean,
Try it.
There's so many different fabrics
Yes.
and so many different threads. Can you use the same thread on your machine as on your serger?
some of them you can, yes. Like for instance, this one here, it's a 12 weight, so it's going to really show up in your upper loopers. There's a nice soft edge to say a baby quilt or something on the
Because I
serger.
think
Yes.
with all the machines that we've got these days, if we had to have
Yes.
all different threads to go with them,
Well, especially if your serger does the top stitch.
sure,
You know,
sure.
the,
Let's have a look at
cover on.
this piece here, because I think it's quite beautiful. So here maybe exemplifies all your different kinds of threads,
Yes.
does it?
Yes. Well, actually, this is that 12 weight I
Oh, this
just
is
showed you
very- I
before.
like it when
So
it
for
shows
thread
up.
painting,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
beautiful. Thread painting is just basically
Free
drop your
motion.
feed dogs with
Yeah.
a straight stitch, or you can incorporate a zigzag stitch.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
so-
do like free motion. I do like thread that
You
shows
do,
up. So,
don't you?
yes.
Yes.
So this is great. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Nancy. I think
And
we've
thank-
learned a lot today.
And thank you for having me.
Don't you go away, because we've got lots more good stuff coming up. Welcome back, and I promised you the swimsuit segment, and I am going to produce because we have Colleen with us, and it's great to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me here, Linda.
You have designed swimsuits for the best of them, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I have many Molson Indy swimsuit winners, many world champions.
Probably because they were wearing your bathing suit.
Well,
Was
it helped a little
it helps
bit.
a little
It helps.
bit,
It
yeah.
always helps a little.
So what do I need to know about a bathing suit?
Well, you need to know how to choose the right fabric, and you need to pick a fabric with a 4-way stretch. Most 4-way stretches have Lycra or spandex in them, and you need to make sure that the greatest amount of stretch is going around your body, not in any other direction.
And you probably need the measurements.
You need some measurements. Measurements are key. I always recommend that when you buy a pattern, you buy according to your problem area, which is either your bust or your hips. If you're
or both.
Or both. If it's both, then you work with both.
Yeah,
And the most important measurement on your pattern is your girth.
Let's have a look at some of these bathing suits before we begin. Oh dear, do we all have to go this way? This is good. This is good. I like it.
This is a very simple suit, but it doesn't have too many pieces to it.
I like this business that it all covers up, but that could also come up here too.
It could come up, wear it more as a dress.
Sure.
But it's
basically
very basic, even for a beginner sewer.
Good. All right, thank you. And then the other one here.
This one's a little more modest.
Well, I like the idea. It's actually 2 pieces, but this one piece is nice and long.
Yeah, so if you're lying on the beach and you do want to get part of yourself tanned, you can kind of roll your suit up, and otherwise you can...
And then this looks like you've cut out.
I've done a little bit of reverse applique on it.
And the matching belt.
Matches
and
the
matching
belt.
tie.
Yeah.
Well, that's the joy of this game. I think what fascinates me about bathing suits is that if you ever go to the beach, you never see 2 the same.
No.
I mean, they're all built with less than a yard of fabric. So how can you be so creative within that? That's just...
Well, you just have to let your imagination
blows my mind.
Go. You can make 1 top, 4 bottoms, 1 bottom,
and bathing suits cost so much. Thank you so much. Bathing suits cost so much. I think this is really something that people maybe should consider making.
They do, and I think most people are a little afraid of them. They're a little afraid because of the fit.
Well, let's do this fit business. That's what you say. You have to measure me.
We need to measure. So, Linda, I'm going to measure you.
All right, here on live TV, here I am getting measured. We won't show you any of the numbers.
We don't have to show the numbers. But this is the most important measurement.
Oh, I don't mind this measurement so much. It's the circumference that bothers me.
And you have to make sure that you go
so I have to just
down through your legs, and you're going up the back.
And this doesn't have to be nude or anything?
No, you're better off to be in
less clothing.
Lot less clothing. Make sure that you're coming straight up and you match at the shoulder. And then you take your measurement there and you take it back to your paper pattern. Now, there's so many commercial patterns on the market these days, so you don't have to worry about
what's this pink line? Is that significant?
This is the girth.
That's where I'm going to measure that.
So you're going to take your paper pattern and you're going to take off your 1/4 inch seam allowance at the shoulder
and measure
and at the crotch, and you're going to measure this pink line
and add it to that.
And you're going to measure the back, and you're going to add the 2 together.
And double it because you've done me. Oh no, I don't have to double it.
No, you don't have to double it. No, this is your total circumference, your total girth.
And hopefully it hits to whatever you measured me at.
If it's more, then you're going to make your pattern a little bit shorter. You want to have your pattern should be 3 inches smaller than what your actual measurement is, because you're making a suit that has to fit snugly.
I would suppose when the suit gets wet, I'm not big on this whole swimming thing, and I'm not big on swimming suits because it shows quite a bit of a person's body. But
it does.
I would suppose when they get wet, they actually expand a little bit?
They will stretch out a little. A good Lycra won't. If you pick a really good Lycra, you won't have that problem.
All right. So we would lengthen or shorten both the front and the back.
Both the front and back equally, keeping your side seams the same.
All right.
And as well, measure your bust and your waist, whichever, and your hips.
So this is kind of a standard, but you could have...
standard.
I mean, I've seen them come up all the way.
You can have a really high cut. Take it off the back.
Sure.
You can have it dip down lower.
All right, so then let's cut it out. Is there a grain, and should I worry about that?
There is a grain, and if you look at your fabric, you'll see it has a very, very tiny line that goes straight up and down.
Like a rib.
Like a rib, just like a rib when you're knitting a sweater, a cuff on a sweater.
So we're going to cut this out.
Your rib is going straight up and down.
Sure, and we're going to sew that back seam.
We're going to sew it with a 1/4 inch seam allowance.
See, there's a bunch more stuff, so we better keep going here.
So we have the lining, which we want to put in the front of the suit.
And you buy bathing suit lining.
You buy a swimsuit lining. It's usually got a bit of treatment in it for chlorine.
And you buy these, I would think?
You buy your cups at the fabric stores as well, according to your own size. And you sew, when you sew your cup in, you try to push some of the lining inside the cup. And then you...
But you said that you're going to cut that out.
We're going to cut all of this out. It's all going to get cut out afterwards.
Where do you place? Do you have a placement?
Well,
Hopefully a little higher than lower.
A little
okay,
bit higher than lower, and you put it yourself, stand in front of a mirror, and you can kind of...
then we're going to put this onto here.
Then this is the front of our suit.
Okay.
So we want to have the wrong side of the suit to the wrong side of the lining.
And we're going to then stitch that around.
Then we're going to, just for ease of placing in the elastic, you're going to do a zigzag stitch around the neck. You notice I have no shoulder in the lining. I cut that out for bulk.
And then we're going to put right sides together.
And we're going to put right sides together and sew all 3 layers at the side, both sides.
And down here.
When we do the crotch, it's just a little bit different. You sew your right sides together, your front and your back. You take your crotch lining and your wrong side of it to the back.
Yeah, okay. And then I can see what's going to happen because that's going to be neat. Yeah.
Once it's all stitched up.
Okay.
We end
all
up
right. So then, how do we finish? Let's see the one that's almost finished.
Now we have a suit that's almost finished here.
Okay.
So this one has the cups and the
elastic
underneath to give a little bit of support.
You're going to bind this.
We're going to bind on this particular suit. We're binding the arms, so I've cut a band.
And you stitch with a zigzag, which is good.
I stitch with a zigzag. You don't have to have a serger to make a bathing suit.
Okay. You're going to bring this out to the right side.
So you're going to
next
put your elastic in. Your elastic should be about 1 inch smaller than your armhole opening.
Okay.
Serge it or zigzag it in place.
Okay.
Then you're going to
turn. We won't have time to do this, but you would then do a twin needle on that?
Do a twin needle or a zigzag if you had the same color of thread. Sure. Your legs are a little more tricky. I always
not a whole lot because we don't have a lot more time.
No, but you take and you measure your elastic. This is a nice, get a chlorine treated elastic. It'll last in the pool.
Let's bring our models in while we're just finishing this off. So you tell me what's the trick on this?
So you want to measure your elastic across the front of your opening and take 1 inch off.
Okay.
You want to measure it across your back and take 2 inches off. And I always mark the sides.
Speaking of fit, here we go.
And this is the finished suit.
This is the finished product.
This is the finished suit with the binding.
Very good, very good. And there's another great look. You know, I've learned so much. Thank you so much, Colleen, for being here and helping us with this.
Thank you, Linda. I've really enjoyed myself.
Great, and I hope you've learned a lot too, so make sure to join us next time on Linda MacPhee's Workshop.
To receive the companion book for this series with all of the project details, send 1998 to the address on your screen or call 1-888-MacPhee or visit us on the web at www.macpheeworkshop.com. Sponsored in part by Janome, quality sewing machines since 1921. And by Rowenta, the garment care experts, meeting the needs of the sewing enthusiast for over 100 years with high-performance irons, steamers, steam generators, and ironing boards. And Wonderfill Specialty Threads, thread for the way you sew. And by the Woolen Mill Store, your source for quality fabrics and more, featuring the largest selection of wool and wool blend. Yardage from Pendleton Woolen Mills. And by Horn of America. Experience quality, innovative ideas, and customer service. And Creative Festival, bursting at the seams with hundreds of industry experts, conference classes, exhibits, and more. Experience creativity in the making.